Yo man, what's up? Bursinator here. Hope you're doing great today because I have an excellent video for you. Alright, this is something that I hear all the time. I hear tons of people preach it. I'm not a fan. Talking about cheat days. Alright, and this is not the same thing as free meals, okay? Because cheat days, free meals, those are kind of different and they're not the same as refeeds either. I'm going to get into all that in a little bit. But there are mainly 4 reasons why I am just not a fan of cheat days, okay? So the first one, let's start off strong. Talking about on the diet versus off the diet mentality, okay? Cheat days are awful for this, okay? It's very much like all week you diet, you're dieting as hard as you can, it's miserable, it sucks, you hate it, and then on the weekend you get that one day where you just look forward to it all the time, just looking forward to that one day where you get to eat all the crap that you've been wanting to eat the entire week, okay? That extreme kind of mindset kind of sounds nice when you're thinking about, you know, how the diet's going to look on the whole, but when you get actually into it, what you're doing is you're basically saying that whenever I'm in a calorie deficit, whenever I'm actually actively losing fat, it sucks. This presence, the process that you have to go through, it sucks because you always want to look forward to that cheat day, that one day where you get to eat all the crap that you want. And by doing that, you're basically saying that anytime you want to lose fat, you have to go through a miserable diet. You have to hate the present moment and look forward to some future moment. And that is the worst mindset you can have for fat loss. I've talked about this in other videos, but you really want to stay focused on the present, focus on that process, and really get good at just focusing all your attention into staying consistent and doing the small actions every single day and enjoying the process, enjoying the diet. So think about it this way. If you are so miserable on your diet that you need a cheat day once a week to, you know, make it worthwhile or to make yourself happy so that you're not just miserable all the time on, you know, sticking to this eating plan, how are you ever going to sustain those results for the long term? Like, even if you did follow a cheat day plan, you got lean as hell, you got ripped, and you were like happy with it, do you really think you're going to maintain those results with the kind of diet that forces you to be so miserable until you can get that one cheat day? It just doesn't make any sense. You can't go from 0 to 100 and then expect to go back to 0 and still be moving at the same speed. You can't maintain results by going back to your old lifestyle. That means you have to be adopting lifestyle habits that are going to stick with you long after you're done losing fat. And if you're doing a cheat day type of system where you're miserable all week and then you get the one day, then you're just basically setting yourself up for failure. So the second point is that cheat days, it's very easy to just completely undo all the work that you've been working for all week long. One day of eating all you can eat, all the junk food that you want, all the junk food that you've been craving for the entire week, those calories add up. I've had 10,000 calorie days, and that's not anything strange doing a cheat day type of system. I've heard a lot of people go higher than 10,000, going like 12,000, 14,000. That's an absurd amount of calories. But also think about it this way. Even if you're burning some absurd amount, so when you're eating more food, you're going to be burning more calories too. So let's say you burn 4,000 calories, say you burn 5,000 calories on the day that you ate the 10,000 calories, 12,000 calories. Did you really create a 5,000 calorie deficit, a 7,000 calorie deficit or more on the rest of the week? 3,500 calories is 1 pound of fat. 7,000 calories is 2 pounds of fat. That means if you're in a 1,000 calorie deficit for every single day of the rest of the week, then you just basically, when you ate over that 7,000, you're basically now undoing all of your work. And that's if you're doing an extreme deficit where you're losing 2 pounds a week. Once you start to get lean, that's not really possible. Once you get down to the 10% body fat for guys, down to the 8% body fat, for women somewhere around 16, 15, somewhere around there is the same equivalent. Once you get down to that, you can't lose 2 pounds a week. It's not going to be fat. So it's not going to be all fat if you lose 2 pounds a week. You're going to be losing muscle too. So if you're eating 7,000 calories more than you need on that one day, you are completely undoing all of your work for the entire week. So the third reason is that cheat days are not physiologically optimal. So when we're talking about physiology, we're basically talking about like the biology in your body and how the chemistry reacts when you eat all that food. So if you're eating that many calories all at once, you're completely overwhelming your body's ability to store carbs as glycogen, overwhelming your body's ability to build muscle at one time. Basically, you're throwing in all these calories into your bloodstream, and your body's only able to do so much with a certain amount. Everything above that, basically your body's in freak out mode. It's just put those calories away, put them in fat, get them out of here, because our blood sugar's too high, our fatty acids in our blood are too high. That's just, we gotta clear it. It gets to that dangerous level when your body's just like, put it away, we don't want it. And that's all fat gain. But if you were to like spread that out, say that you took those same calories, but you spread them out throughout the entire week, then what you're doing is you're now matching that level of what your body's able to absorb and to store as glycogen, to build as muscle. You're now taking all those calories and you're matching it to your body's ability so that it's able to actually make use of those calories instead of just freaking out and putting them all away. And on top of that, you know, eating all those calories all at once, that's like food in general, just digesting food creates inflammation in the body. Eating that much food in one day, you're just like, basically your body is in freak out mode. It's just completely inflamed. And I mean, if you've ever done cheat days and you've had that one day of just extreme eating, you know how bad you feel the next day, which is actually point number 4. I don't think cheat days are that enjoyable. It sounds really great when you're, you know, in this calorie deficit and you're craving all these foods. It sounds like this, like, you know, savior diet plan where you get to just eat everything you want all at once and still lose fat. But it's actually not that fun. You end up feeling like crap. You're just like bogged down all day. You get headaches, you feel dehydrated. You wake up the next day with a food hangover and you're just like inflamed and just don't, you know, bloated, just don't feel good. Like I've never had a cheat day go by where I was happy the next day. I felt good the next day. It's always just miserable. You just feel like crap. It's much, much better to just take each day at a time, one at a time, and kind of get into that very enjoyable fat loss habit. Now, all of that is to say that you shouldn't have this one day of a week where you just go balls wild and go crazy, just eat everything that you can. Okay, you shouldn't be doing that. Now, that's not saying that you can't have free meals where you don't have to worry about tracking calories, where you can kind of relax a little bit or have a little bit more junk food that you might not have normally had. That is okay. Okay, that's part of creating that happy fat loss, that the psychological fat loss, where you're in a happy state while your body is still consistently losing fat, okay? And another option, which I think is probably my favorite, is to do refeeds, to have refeed days. And those are not the same as cheat days, they're not the same as free meals. Refeed days are specific days or meals where you do very high carb and you try to limit your fat, you still control total calories, and it's done in a purposeful way. It's not just a free-for-all like a cheat day is. One of the main benefits that people say about cheat days is that it boosts leptin. Leptin is basically this master hormone that kind of controls a bunch of other hormones involved in your metabolism. Long story short, when leptin drops, your metabolism drops. When leptin goes up, your metabolism goes up for the most part. There's a few odd situations that with really overweight people who have high leptin and it still doesn't work, and that has to do with leptin sensitivity, but that's for another video. The thing is, leptin responds most to your carbohydrate intake, specifically whenever you have spillover from carbs into fat, when your glycogen stores are filled and you're still eating carbs and that little bit of spillover into fat, that's mainly what creates that boost in leptin. So yeah, cheat days do accomplish that, but you're getting all these extra calories you don't need coming along with it that are completely undoing all of the fat loss that you got throughout the entire week. Your metabolism is not actually going to be high enough to actually compensate for all of those extra calories. But if you're doing a carb refeed in a specific way, and especially if you do smaller carb refeeds throughout the week and kind of spread it out, then you get this situation where you're still boosting leptin, you're not eating too many calories, you're still on this like productive mindset of dieting and being happy with the diet. You don't feel like you're just constantly, miserable trying to hit that calorie deficit, and everything's just much more enjoyable. You get, every time you weight lift, you get a little bit of reward, you get those carbs coming in, and your metabolism's happy, you're building muscle, you feel full, but you still are losing fat. It's the best of both worlds. You get all the good stuff of fat loss with losing fat and getting leaner, but you still have all of the good stuff of getting those carb refeeds, getting the leptin, keeping your hormones happy, and all that good stuff. Guys, that about does it for cheat days. Like I said, do free meals if you want to have a little bit of a break where you don't have to count and you don't have to worry about it. If you're looking for the actual physiological advantage, go with carb refeeds. specifically smaller carb refeeds after your weightlifting workouts. Those tend to work very well for boosting leptin and keeping your hormones happy. Just as a quick recap here of why cheat days are just awful for fat loss, it creates the on the diet, off the diet mentality, which you don't want. You want to be enjoying the process the entire time. It can undo all of your hard work for the entire week because you're getting so many calories all at once that the deficit you've created in the other days of the week can be completely undone in that single day. It is not physiologically optimal because you're just shoving all these calories in when your body can't process them all at the same time. It can't build muscle, it can't store glycogen because it's just too many calories all at once, and so it just stores them as fat to get it out of there. And finally, they're just not enjoyable. You feel bloated, you feel inflamed, and just tired and groggy and over full, and the next day you have a food hangover and all that stuff. So just better to avoid them, better to stick with free meals if you need some psychological relaxation, and carb refeeds if you need some, if you want physiological benefits from leptin and stuff like that. If you have any questions about this, shoot them below. If you have any other questions that you'd like answered through video blogs, put them below as well. I will check them, I will put them up. I'm gonna get out of here and probably, I don't know, go cook or something like that. I got some food to eat. Peace.